Morning YouTube, Trevor here, Summit on Nothing, out today in my garden. Just a quick video today where I'm going to answer a question that I get asked quite a lot. A lot of people message me through the Summit on Nothing Facebook page, through my Instagram account, through the emails, and often say things like, "Hi Trev, love the videos, of course, and it's made me want to get into wild camping myself. I'm going to go up to Dartmoor and I would love to know where you could recommend for us first time campers." I always give the same answer. One of my favourite areas of Dartmoor, and also one of the best places to start camping, I think, is the Merrivale area, and here's why. Merrivale is a fantastic place for beginners and newcomers to the moor to first try wild camping. Its situation between Tavistock and two bridges along the B3357 means that there are no small roads to navigate, making your starting point relatively easy to locate. Apart from its location, there is also a wealth of things to see and terrain to explore on either side of the road. It's a great place to practice map reading.
Great staple. And then that is Cox Tor over there.
And to camp without ever being too far from the car. And best of all, the area falls safely in the free camping area of the Dartmoor camping map. There's a little car park sort of nestled in these trees, which is a great place to park. And from there you can camp so close to the car, but still having quite a good day out hiking. There is loads to explore. Some really beautiful looking tours. But before you get to there, there's some fantastic antiquities. The Merrivale area is a host to some of the most accessible antiquities that the moor has to offer. Aside from an impressive collection of standing stones, you will also find a number of cairns and kists, and a small stone circle can also be found. But the centrepiece of this ancient display is that of the stone rose. There are 3 rows in all, presumed to date back to the Bronze Age. The largest two, the north and the south rows, run parallel to one another. The south row is the longest of the two, at over 250 metres, and has a burial cairn at its centre. They are an impressive sight even from the roadside. And all of these lay under the majesty of King's Tor, which stands at 380 metres and is located about a kilometre away from the car park. On the same side of the road as the car park, you will find King's Tor, which is a great little tour to explore. Go a little bit further and you can explore Foggintor and Swelltor, which are 2 great quarries. Whilst King's Tor is not the largest tor in the area, it is still arresting in its beauty, with high stacks of Dartmoor granite, from which you can catch some impressive views of the numerous tors to the north, and also looking across to the south to the historical landmarks of Swelltor and Foggintor quarries.
King's Tor, it's Foggintor there, Swelltor over there. We're thinking we've got time, we might pop over and have a look at the quarries while we're here.
Foggintor and Swelltor once stood as tors, but over the years they were quarried to become no more than the great chasms that we see today.
There's quite the chasm.
However, there is still something endearing about this spot, and the derelict remnants of the quarry buildings that still remain.
Well, what an area again. Dartmoor never ceases to amaze me.
Foggintor is a favourite campsite for many wild campers, due in part to its protection from the harsh Dartmoor weather, but also because of the picturesque man-made lake. And you can sort of get to Princetown from there, you can get to Ingra Tor, so there's a great area to explore that side. Come back the other side of the road, and again it's this massive area to explore. So grab a map, grab a compass, practice your navigation. You can suss out what gear you need. You don't have to carry it too far. If it comes in sort of horrendous weather, you can just pack up and clear off, and you haven't got to walk for miles and miles. It's safe in the knowledge that you're always going to be relatively close to the car. Merrivale is a great entry point to the vast and barren landscape of the North Moor. If you wanted, you could disappear for days from this point, exploring all that the North Moor has to offer, including some of the highest tors on Dartmoor. But for a newcomer to the Dartmoor, or for someone who's just getting to grips with navigation, the immediate area offers some brilliant training ground. If you wanted to stay close, there's a great collection of tours to explore. You can venture as far or as close as you wish, building skills and more importantly confidence in a landscape which can be frightening and often confusing once the weather comes in. One of my favourite tours to camp at, which I've camped a couple of times now, is Great Mis Tor. So you've got Great Mis and Little Mis, and that's literally just up a track from that same car park. Great Mis is a fantastic tour. The view from there is brilliant. You're up high enough and you feel isolated. You feel like you're in the middle of Dartmoor, but you're literally 10-15 minutes from the car. Great Mis Tor is a beaut of a tour. At 539 metres, it's quite a climb from the Merrivale area. And if attempted via its western bank, from the valley between Great Mis and Roos Tor, it's harder and steeper still, as we found out on our first visit to it. There is a vast area to explore on top of Great Mis, plenty of rocks and stacks covering a large space, and it's worth looking out for the rock basin known as the Devil's Frying Pan, something that as of yet I have still to discover myself. But the best thing is that plenty of flat ground in among the rocks, which makes for an ideal camping ground and gives you reasonable shelter from the weather. To the west of that, there's some more good tours. Great Staple Tor, Middle Staple Tor. There's Roos Tor, Cox Tor, so you could do yourself like a nice little sort of circular walk around those tours and camp on any of those. Situated to the west of Great Mis is an area that includes some more impressive tours, all of which are relatively close together. Closest to the road, beyond the Dartmoor Inn and the Merrivale Quarry, is Staple Tours, with Little Staple leading to Middle Staple and up to Great Staple, with each tour building in height and splendour.
So if we're on Middle Tor, then that down there
It's the Little Tor.
is Little Tor. So do you want to go back down to Little Tor first then?
No, not bothered with Little Tor, it's hardly a tour, is
You
it?
don't make our grade!
Great Staple Tor stands at 455 metres and offers some fantastic panoramic views. To the west of Great Staple Tor is Cox Tor, a little more than a kilometre away and beyond a fairly deep valley. Cox Tor stands at 442 metres and has some interesting ground undulation that is worth inspection before making your way up to the rocks and the trig point.
Here, trig point. Here we be.
To the north of Great Staple, and not as far as Cox Tor, is Roos Tor, which stands almost at the same height as Great Staple. The rocks here are more interesting to those at Cox Tor, but most interesting of all is the way markers you can see positioned beneath the Tor and all around it.
If you look around this Tor, Roos Tor, there's stones all the way around in a circle. There's almost like a road going past, like a track going past them all. It's quite strange.
So yeah, that's my recommendation for anyone who's first time camping. Go to Merrivale. So yeah, a fantastic little area. So any other questions you've got, ping them across to me and I'll see if I can answer them for you. Always happy to help. Always happy to encourage people to get out there, and hopefully we'll be out there before too long. Don't forget, give us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers.